Oh, good. If anybody missed what I was saying, I was just grumbling about series being a little bit boring. Now it's been toned down.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good direction for series to go in. I liked the way it used to be.
Hmm, that's it. You could, like you said, you could have a little play with the prices. You could build an optimization center and make some money on world rather than
Yeah.
just. I suppose Mars isn't totally off-world based endgame, but
Yeah, it's a nice. Like I find Mars, especially with the current sort of multiplayer meta, is a really a nice balance. Like you do get punished for building an off-world sometimes, which kind of feels like how it should be. It shouldn't necessarily just be, build two off-worlds at the end of the game and just win. I
exactly
don't
those
think that's
games are
healthy.
boring.
Yeah,
But I don't think there's any need to tone series down.
no, I don't think so either.
That was the fun of it. You had to really concentrate and be a bit agile. Whereas Mars, you could be a little bit more, not relaxed, but I don't think there's any need to tone series. Yeah, different style of play, perhaps. It was refreshing to play series. But I can see the point that it's not noob friendly, but I think that's the noob's problem, not the map.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's and I mean, there's enough that's intuitive. I think about the prices operating as they do. And I mean, I guess one problem was the AI, which didn't really know how to not build off worlds on series. But even so, I think for a healthy multiplayer game, I think it's better to sort of have something that differentiates it from Mars.
Exactly. 'Cause, it's just Mars, but grayer without wind turbines. And no carbon scrubbing, which gets me every time. They go, build a patent lab, get some carbon scrubbing. And then I'm clicking, going, where's carbon scrubbing? It's disappeared. What's happening?
All right, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, three, two, one, let's go.
Oh, no good watching your stream, is there? I don't. Okay.
All right, very warm welcome to the third place playoff between Blues and YerAnd. Both of these players falling out of the 1v1 tournament at the semi-final stage to PB Head and Death Tacticus, respectively. They have a chance, though, to win themselves a bronze medal here today. It's a best-of-5 series. This is game number 1. And alongside me to enjoy what will hopefully be a competitive series is Morgan. What do you make of this, Morgan?
It's a decent map, I think. There's probably a scavenger down the southwest, which Blues takes, and then probably we'll see Robotic in the opposite corner, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's quite likely. There isn't great iron, honestly. Like, there's not really any sort of patch of iron that Yaren can fall into and be comfortable with it. But he's taken, it's kind of marginal iron. That's kind of the issue. And there's not really, and again, the nukes on the market with that medium, it's going to be pretty vulnerable in the short term. But he at least will get the chance to goon it before Blues gets a chance to drop that nuke down. That's something at least for founding second.
Yeah, I would like to see him actually go to the top iron there. I think that's a little bit stronger, a little bit closer to carbon. Can't see much of an advantage of settling where he did. I like Blues as found actually. He's got water, silicon.
Yeah, he's got basically everything he needs, doesn't he? I mean, he may have overpaid for it. I don't know actually. I mean, 32,000 seems like a lot, but it's not actually that much. Like it's a glass colony. He's in the field of silicon, so he's got very, very easy access to that market. And Yaren's absolutely nowhere near any silicon, so it's going to be really difficult for him to do anything with it.
That's a game-winning found, I think.
Yeah.
I think should pretty much cruise this, unless Yaran can start hitting him with nukes. I mean,
Well,
Blues is a little bit vulnerable.
Yeren might be in a little bit of trouble here because Blues has a cooldown coming in 10 seconds. Yeren no money to defend himself. I wonder if Blues is going to take the opportunity to, selling everything down. I wonder if we're going to see a nuke immediately. In fact, we're going to see a power surge immediately onto the iron, onto the single steel mill. And that is going to be Yaren's production basically shut down for the duration of that freeze. Steel completely unprofitable, the only thing that can operate now for Yaren. is those two steel mills.
Yeah, I don't like to say this, but I think game over.
Yep, I think it's going to be a long, long road back, isn't it, for YerAnd from here?
Hmm
It's
I
sorry,
mean,
go on.
you could. This is painful, really, really painful. I mean, Blues has bought the iron up, Steel's worth nothing. But YerAnd's got no resources around him. He's going to be shipping everything in. He's going to be slow into power, so he's going to be vulnerable to a big power spike. Shipping for him will be expensive to start. Yeah, I would imagine Blues is going to get some food down shortly, and a bit of glass should be an easy majority buy for him, I think.
Yeah, he is struggling a little bit to get to that HQ3 upgrade. He's sold all his iron down now, which does restart YerAnd's steel mills, at least temporarily. He's struggling to get to that upgrade. He's about 200 short at the moment with that money and food. That shortage in food should certainly push him over the edge to that upgrade.
Yeah, as soon as he's over the hump, it should be nice and easy for him to cruise along, get some profitable buildings down.
Yeah, he's got
He's
those
got his
glass. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of demand for glass, and it's pretty profitable. Certainly, like the colony is 1 glass a second. He's going to be consuming glass, obviously, to upgrade. So he does need that. So it does make sense for him to go into it. He's got the silicon, of course. Oxygen's still relatively low. Here is a geotherm auction, which I imagine YerAnd will end up taking. No, he gives it to Blues.
Yeah, I think YerAnd's quite happy to go into his wind turbine. He's bought some of that cheap carbon up. It's not expensive for him, but yeah, Blues has got a circuit overloads in stock, and he's probably just waiting to use that.
Yeah, so only the one wind turbine for the moment, which I think is saving YerAnd's power production for the time being. Blues does get to the HQ3 upgrade. He is sending a little claim bot or a construction bot over to that geotherm all the way in the northwest near YerAnd's base. So he will have power online fairly soon. He's also going into food, and look at the price of food. That is the real price of food as well. So 264 per unit of food, and climbing precipitously. Nuke does come down.
Yeah,
to
but
the carbon.
YerAnd he's a fair way off. I mean, he's another 1,000, a little bit more steel to upgrade, so he'll soon to be to HQ level 2. I expect he'll move into some food as well, but he's going to be shipping water in from a fair distance. Price of power is going to keep going up. So possibly Blues will get a nice quick upgrade here, maybe moving to a little bit more power, try to bring the price of power down.
Yep.
Although Blues is in a lot of debt.
He's in a lot of debt. He's in over 100,000 of debt, and that's kind of interesting. YerAnd now gets to that HQ level 3, and because YerAnd hasn't been consuming that power, he's not in quite so much debt. He's in less than 20,000. He's just peaked over 20,000 right now as the circuit overload does eventually drop onto his wind turbines. So Blues is going to be probably paying a little bit of that debt off as soon as that geotherm comes online, but he doesn't really have, and as I say that, he upgrades to HQ4, so he can now get power production down, which is at least volume of power production, which I imagine he will do quite soon.
Yeah, he's got his couple of solar panels there just next to his silicon, extra greenhouse farm, so Blues is going to be making a lot of money shortly.
Yep, nicely
Not
timed.
that it's going to be cash though. He's got a lot, probably over 120k at least of debt to pay off.
Yeah, he's got a lot of debt to chew through, but he is now making 4 power a second, or a surplus of 4 power a second, which compensates a little bit for YerAnd's shortfall. So that price isn't going to fall too sharply, and as I say that, the circuit overload comes down, well timed from YerAnd to get that down onto his solar panels, and there's a perpetual motion auction. So the game quite insistent on not wanting Blues to pay too much of that debt off.
Yeah, I'd had to take that, I think. Otherwise, Blues is going to be in a fantastic little position.
I'm a little bit concerned with him taking that auction though, because he doesn't really have an easy way into power. He's not got a goon on his wind turbines just yet. He's not going to have a cooldown for another 40 seconds or so. And with that power, even with half power consumption, he's got a lot of those freighters coming in. He's shipping that water in from quite a long way. He's shipping that aluminium away from his base as well. So difficult for him to get that power down.
Yeah, it's going to definitely have to do a lot of power, I think, in the short term, just to sort of keep his head above water. I mean, he is losing nearly $500 a second on power,
Yep.
which is a fair amount, and it's just getting bigger, and that shortage isn't going to help.
Yeah, the power shortage, the random power shortage has, I think, certainly helped Blues out at least a little bit. He's pushing YerAnd into that debt. Blues isn't running a power surplus either now, though. He's slightly in debit in terms of power. He's got his greenhouse farms down, which aren't really profitable anymore. At least the ones on the right-hand side of his base aren't very profitable because of the overload.
Yeah, but it's better to have the farms down than be having those useless solar panels.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was definitely worth the transition. And Blues does have a lot of money tied up in glass, and he might not need much more, honestly. He's been making that glass for a long, long time. The demand's going up with the colony, and he's almost at the point now where he can really begin to think about a majority buy.
Yeah, I mean, he can easily afford 5 shares,
Oh.
and he only needs 6 to totally take YerAnd out, so be surprised. He has got a HQ5 upgrade if he wants one, but I imagine he's not going to bother with that.
Here it is.
Nope. Here
So,
it comes.
1 stock into himself, 2 stocks into YerAnd. The idea being he's going to sell out of that 3rd stock when it appreciates in value, having bought up YerAnd stock. There's absolutely nothing YerAnd can do here. Blues has more than enough money to take game number 1 of this series. YerAnd, with that 6,000 in cash, he needs about 50,000 to defend himself. He's not going to do it. Game number 1 over to Blues.
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier. That was a game-winning found from Blues. He might have been in a bit of trouble if he couldn't get a majority buy, if he couldn't keep his debt under control, but that would have meant YerAnd killing the power price, which unfortunately YerAnd wasn't really in a position to do.
Yeah, just over and over again those wind turbines getting circuit overloaded, and YerAnd not really in a position where he could goon it and also stay aggressive on the black market. Blues just taking advantage of that and pushing in again and again.
Well, I really think that there was only one found on this map, and whoever took that found was going to win the game, because it's just impossible. I couldn't really see any way for the robot to make any money.
Yeah, I mean, that was the best iron on the map. The fact that it was a medium and a low adjacent. It was not really near much else. The aluminium had to come in from a long way away. The water wasn't anywhere near. The silicon, which ended up being really important, of course, with the glass colony, again, not anywhere near. Maybe there was something in the southeast with those 2 low irons, maybe, for YerAnd, but again, that would have been really dicey.
With nukes in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
Can't do a whole lot with that. So Blues takes game number 1. Let's quickly look at the graphs, and yeah, you can see that that glass, 138,000 he made in glass. He bought 86,000 of glass. Some of that was for the upgrade. Some of that was for the general sort of mini hacker array effect with the colony, I think. But certainly in profit, he made between 50 and 60,000 of glass money, which is a lot of money.
Yeah, well, the price of food was excellent. The price of glass was amazing. And like you say, the glass colony just meant that the price of glass appreciated so much. It was very easy for Blues to sell his stockpile down and take the game. And YerAnd, possibly because of the location and the way the map was, just didn't have a reply for him. So,
yeah.
Well,
so into game number 2. And again, with power getting up to 350 or so, we see that quite often in 1v1s. Power is usually the means by which you can attack your opponent and keep that offline.
That's it. Power is a powerful tool if you can use it properly.
And yeah, Blue's saying in chat, he put himself in an awkward position by wanting to both produce glass and stockpile water on HQ2. Did end up transitioning those water tiles. It ended up working fine, I think, because there was such a big delay on YerAnd with that initial power surge, that made it it was slightly awkward for him, but it didn't really cost him very much. It just cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's it. He easily kind of just slowed him down a slight bit. but having a couple of glass down, very easy upgrades then. And a nice bit of food there, made a good bit of profit.
Okay, game 2. Alright, very warm welcome, game 2 of this bronze match in the 1v1 Winter Championship. Blues and YerAnd are our two competitors. Blues up 1-0 in this series, and Morgan, who's joining me for this one. There's a lot of carbon on this map, and I wonder if again we're going to see a scavenger from somebody.
I think so. I mean, there's only one patch of iron, so only one player is going to be going for an iron-based HQ. As you say, a lot of carbon, not less carbon maybe, but it's a scavenger location, a secondary. I mean, you could let maybe the robot go first. Depends who wants to be robot and who wants to be scavenger.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these prices, and YerAnd decides to go expansive, which is a really interesting decision. Blues does go for the double low carbon found in the crater in the middle of the map near the colony. YerAnd just putting down an expansive a little bit to the east, and he paid a little bit for that as well. He paid 10k of debt for that, and there is money to be made in steel. So I wonder if he's thinking that that is something that he wants to go into early on, get maybe some of that black market action a little bit more easily, because he'll have more money from that steel than Blues will.
I think so. I mean, it is a power colony, so the player's going to have to watch out, because the price of power is going to spike reasonably quickly with these two steel mills down. Power comes up from the colony as well, so you're going to have to think, what are they going to do for their power needs?
And Blues with the aggression immediately with the HQ1 mutiny on the iron. And again, buying into that iron. YerAnd did buy up some this time, though. So I don't know whether he bought that. Presumably he bought that before the spike. Blues, yeah, in fact, Blues isn't really buying into that at all. So YerAnd did get that iron down before Blues was able to do much with the price. So he's going to get to HQ2 here.
Oh yes, pretty easily. Here he is, up to HQ level 2, so we're going to have another iron out of him, and probably a couple of steel mills. Oh, I'm not sure if that's a good idea, having a triangle of steel.
Yeah, triangle of steel all in one place, and then the double low aluminium mines, the medium along with the high iron mine, which, I mean, that might be okay, but yeah, he's going to be running a steel deficit for a little while. That third steel mill is going to be not really going to produce anything for a little while. Might have been better things to do with that claim, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe he should have gone for a high aluminium or something, and maybe got two separated steel mills.
Yeah, or maybe gone into something like food, or maybe get some early... Well, no, early power's not really a thing, is it? Because he took on that debt at the beginning. But his steel is auto-off, and will be for a while until that mutiny comes back, and there's the EMP as well on the iron. So no iron production for YerAnd for quite a while.
Yes, that's good black use of the black market from Blues there. It's put YerAnd at a pretty decisive disadvantage at the moment.
Yeah, Blues very close to that HQ3 upgrade as well. Here it is.
Yeah, Blues, I mean, that's the problem with the scavengers. When you're playing against them, they are going to absolutely race up to HQ 3, 4. Blues going for carbon? That's going to be a wind turbine, surely. Yes, it is.
Yep, so wind turbine early on for Blues, and yeah, that power colony. I mean, you mentioned it was a power colony, and there's only 4 office modules at the colony, but even so, that power price climbing pretty sharply. There's 3 steel mills online for YerAnd. You have an extra claim.
YerAnd paying quite a lot, 28 for that, which I can see he probably wants to do that. I mean, if he can get maybe buy a claim as well and get a couple of steel mills down.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up being a medium water, and yeah, he finally puts the EMP back onto Blues. He finally has the money to do that, but again, Blues, pretty big lead here. Has a cash lead, has an HQ lead, has a debt lead as well.
Yeah, that's the worry for YerAnd at the moment, is the price of power. The fact he's running those steel mills, he hasn't got any power down because he's not yet at HQ3 in a position to look at it.
Yeah.
He's pretty significantly behind,
And
unfortunately.
no easy way into power either. He's got the steel again. The steel is completely unprofitable because of the price of iron. He does now have his high iron mine back. It's going to be joined very shortly by the medium. But there's a cooldown in 2 seconds for blues, and here comes the EMP. On the
Onto the
food.
foods.
Interesting,
Well,
okay.
well, that's the only probable thing that YerAnd's got.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, food is
nice.
certainly very profitable, so yeah, he might have been able to get the money just with the food for the upgrade. But leaves the iron and steel alone for the time being, which I think is going to be at least a little bit good for YerAnd. He's getting some money from that iron. He's going to be able to get the steel to upgrade, but again, Blues is just so far ahead. YerAnd already in that sea level of debt.
Yeah, I mean, YerAnd needs another 10k to upgrade. And
That's a mutiny goon from YerAnd on the wind turbine. Is Blues going to mutiny it back, I wonder? He
well,
is, and well then, there's a play. There's
it's
a play.
good play, but it's not really going to benefit him, is it? He's just wasted a goon squad to get a mutiny.
Well,
Which he's
he
got
gets
nothing to do with.
I mean,
What's
he
going
gets
to do with the mutiny?
Yeah, I mean, he gets a mutiny, and he also stops Blues making power money. I think that's the really important thing with that, because Blues only has 17,000 of debt. He would almost have been making power money by this point, and also he doesn't quite have. Isn't quite falling into that C level of debt, yeah, and he's 93,000, or that D level of debt rather. He's 93,000. So maybe he can do something with that mutiny, I'm not sure. But the more important thing, I think, was that it stopped Blues making power money.
Yeah, but I'm sure Blues isn't too concerned about making power money at the moment. I mean, I'm sure he'd like to, but he's got a decent lead on him. YerAnd's, well, struggling. I mean, he's managed to get to HQ3, but I don't know. It's going to be difficult for YerAnd. He's going to have to watch his
Yeah,
debt.
I mean, he's still a mile behind, honestly, in this game. Doesn't have any money at all, basically. Is now HQ3. Is in that 120,000 of debt. No cook the books available either. So very soon indeed, in fact, he's going to be locked out of the black market. There it is. He's in D levels of debt right now, and Blues getting to that HQ4 upgrade. Just has so many more tools and so many more resources to play with.
Exactly. I mean, I can see another EMP coming down onto that food YerAnd's. Just shut that down. Stop the... Oh.
Natural surplus as well. Yeah. So that's going to hurt his profits.
It is, very much. Blues moving into another 2 wind turbines.
Oh, and these reactors from YerAnd, this is so painful because that's a whole bunch more power that he's burning on these reactors. Nearly $100 per tile. They are very profitable in terms of cash, but it's a whole bunch more of debt that really he can't afford at this point. He's going to be taking a D-level debt tick, almost certainly.
Oh yes, he hasn't got the money to pay off his debt, so that's going to hurt 30%.
And Blues,
Ouch.
Blues taking away the geotherm, and now is going to be making power money very, very shortly indeed. Has those wind turbines up, has that geotherm as well, and Blues now making a lot of power money, more than $1,000 a second. And very, very soon this is going to stack up to the point where Blues can very easily take this game number 2.
I think so. Blues, he's moving to the glass market. Silicon's quite high, and he is bringing silicon in, so he's not going to be running too much of a surplus. He's going to make good money on his glass. Food's sort of profitable. Power is extremely profitable for Blues. So.
Another EMP onto YerAnd, who's now in $165,000 of debt. That is a lot.
YerAnd may be able to defend himself. His stock price is only $12. He's got nearly 25, so he can probably defend himself. Whether he would want to or not, that's the question.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kind of has to. Well, maybe he doesn't have to. I mean, Blues doesn't really have much money to threaten with at the moment. He's got that one stock of his own, which is worth what, 25,000 or so. He's now got 3 of YerAnd's stocks, so again, almost stretching to that 5th pip, but certainly not the 6th pip at the moment. And YerAnd does have the money to defend himself, but the issue for YerAnd is that all the money that he's defending himself with isn't going off towards servicing that debt. of 158,000, and with the power on the way down, that's not going to be able to use power too much longer for that.
Blues is making a lot of money, but most of a big significant chunk of it's coming from power, so as power drops off, he's making $800 a second roughly now. That's dropping all the time, 700, but if he can get another share reasonably quickly and then sell down that stock in himself...
Yeah, I mean, his income stream's kind of dried up. He took that auction for, what, 14,000 for that low silicon tile, which I think in the long term will serve him very well, but it does mean that he's not going to be making any more cash money, at least for the time being, or at least not very much for the time being. Going to make a little bit more, but YerAnd now very comfortably able to defend himself, but again, the issue is... we're, what, 6 hours away from another debt tick for YerAnd, and if he defends himself, not going to be able to pay off that debt.
Well, his $150,000, he gets a better bond at
126. Yeah.
So it's iffy if he's going to be able to sacrifice all his cash to prevent the interest.
Well, he can't sacrifice all his cash, because then Blues just kills him. There's no doubt about that. Blues has the money at this point with that stock of his own to be able to do that.
Basically suicide if he doesn't pay off that debt. He doesn't need a debt tick, 30% interest tick, which he just took.
$44,000 that debt tick. Almost $200,000 of debt now.
And this is Game Slayer levels of debt.
And he's not getting any more debt, but at the same time, he's really not got too many ways to fix it right now. If power's down at $50, that's pretty much been and gone. Although it is kind of on its way back up now. Blues transitioning 2 of those wind turbines into glass kilns. But with those 2 geotherms down from YerAnd, he can't transition those tiles away. He stopped selling power, so trying to just edge that price up ever so slightly, but it is just a very slow process.
It is. I mean, Blues has got 100k in the bank in cash money. Well, resources as well. So Blues isn't too far away from taking YerAnd out. He's going to need 150, he probably needs another $150,000, which, if the price of chemicals keeps rising as it has been, he's going to be doing quite well.
Yeah, well, it's going to, because there's a chemical colony here and trying to put a pleasure dome down, which will be some amount of money, but again, not a huge amount of money. There's a nuke for sale as well, and I wonder how the players will value this, because a nuke on somebody's water, I mean, yeah, YerAnd again has a slightly dicey water situation. Blues has a big stockpile, but where does that go? Yeah, on the water. That's not going to hurt too much though. Blues again with 700 water, and life support has pretty much died a death at this point. Not all that profitable.
Blues has got plenty of water, he's not too worried about that. And like you say, life support's not great. Chemicals are great though. Glass is pretty good, although Blues has trashed it a little bit by selling out some glass. But
yeah, I mean, the issue YerAnd has is that, like, the only price on the map really is chems, but he knows that's an artificial price. He knows that Blues has a large amount of chems stockpiled, and yeah, he has 130,000 of chems stockpiled, in fact, or $130,000 worth of chems stockpiled, which is going to stop YerAnd making any sort of money from that. And yeah, he's got the 2 chem refineries down now, but again, Blues can sell out of that basically whenever he wants to, and yeah, YerAnd in that D level of debt, not able to defend his pleasure dome. So Blues says, thank you very much, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what YerAnd's going to be doing with this hacker array. He's going to go for a food shortage, which I suppose makes sense since Blues is not in the food market, and Blues does not have any stockpiles, but even so, I can't see this hack's going to be massively profitable.
Well, it's going to make him some money. He's going to have quite a bit stockpiled by the time that food shortage comes through, 200, 250 or thereabouts. The issue he has, or he could potentially have, is that he can't shut down any of Blues' food production if Blues does go into food. And these reactors at the moment that Blues has are losing money. I mean, I guess they're not really losing money because of the water price, but still.
But when you're $266,000 in debt, and your opponent's got, well, he did have 200k in cash and shares.
Can Blues win the game right now? He might be able to win the game right now. That was a huge debt hit that we missed, by the way, for YerAnd as well. It was like 60,000 or something.
Well, yeah. easily. I mean, $266,000 of debt. That's PB levels of debt there.
Yeah, he's graduated from Gameslayer Academy and gone to PB University with his levels of debt.
So Blues he's going to 32k to buy this remaining share, and then he's going to need 160. So Blues is about 30k away from cleaning up this game.
Yeah, he is 86% on the little ticker next to YerAnd's name. He has a claim which isn't going to be very consequential, I would suggest.
No, it could go either way. There is a glass shortage coming in from Blues' hacker array.
Yep, he's got rather a lot of glass stored up. And again, YerAnd not in that market. That's completely safe, and this might just end the game right here. He's at 91% now on YerAnd, and even if not, then the next debt tick will surely do for YerAnd.
Yes, we're going to be pennies on the dollar for YerAnd's share price soon enough. These debt ticks have been hurting something ridiculous.
And 170,000 of glass ticking up all the time, and yeah, YerAnd just
YerAnd making a move on Blues.
desperation.
Well,
He's going to raise his stock price enough to at least protect it in the short term, but again, there's $200,000 of glass now for Blues. He made about 30,000 from that hack. And he now has the 100%, so I wonder if we're going to see a shift buy. We are. And game number 2 goes over to Blues.
GG Blues. That was a nice little demonstration of a powerful scavenger and a slow expansive.
Yeah.
But I think Blues won the game early with his excellent black market use. That was really game changing, keeping YerAnd shut down. And well done, Blues. Impressive.
Yeah, two very different games from Blues. The first game where he took the best found on the map, and the second game where he founded second. But again, the advantage when you found second in a 1v1, the main advantage, that is that you can use the black market first. And Blues using that advantage to really good effect, taking that iron away, keeping YerAnd's steel offline for a while. And even though YerAnd recovered in the short term, like the steel was really all he had at HQ2, and he just stalled out a little bit. Blues able to go into other markets, make a bit more money, gets into power first as well, made some money from power, and just sort of snowballed the game from there. And YerAnd getting into that D levels of debt, he ended the game with how much debt? He ended the game with 246,000 of debt, which isn't sustainable in most games, and certainly wasn't in this one for YerAnd.
No, definitely not. Well played, Blues. Well played, YerAnd.
Yep, absolutely, and that is game number 2. So let's move on to game number 3 then. And yeah, we can see just before we do with Blues glass profits, he made at least 75,000 in pure profit on that glass. A couple of other things as well that power was an obvious one that he made money from, close to 100,000 there. So yeah, a bunch of money in a bunch of different places, and that is game number 2. That was the story of game number 2. So here is a lobby for game number 3.
Excellent.
Oh, is there an aluminium play that we missed in chat? Did YerAnd try and spike aluminium, and then Blues had it?
Yeah,
I missed that at the time.
I missed that, yeah.
Just wait for both players to ready up. The very start of the game, and that's what gave Blues the early cash for the black market, apparently. According to that aluminium, the price spiked, and he was able to sell down at HQ1.
Make enough money to start his black market attacking spree. That's a good move then. Well done.
Yep, very well played.
I should remember that one. I can't like playing casual games. It's far too much hassle to have to think sometimes.
Yeah, nothing wrong with casual games or casual tournaments. Game number 3 between Blues and YerAnd in this bronze medal game. Blues throwing out the good luck, have fun. And this map is an interesting one. King Morgan, who's going to be alongside me for this game. There's some amount of iron in the northeast, but a bunch of other things potentially on the map. I don't know if we'll see an early found here.
Not sure. I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, there's perhaps a scavenger if you want to deal with
nukes
the
as well, though.
nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. I don't know. There's no scientific spots. I don't think. Apart, possibly if glass was high, there could be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'd do with this map.
Blues up by 2-0, so he does have the luxury a little bit to experiment with different things. And yeah, the debt ticks all the way down, and now we have a bonus for whoever founds first instead. So that's going to tick up for a little while. Neither player wanting to be the one, and with those nukes on the map, maybe that's why.
There is only one high water as well, so...
Blues founding first with the scavenger in the crater, which is interesting. Not going to have a whole lot of room to expand. There are EMPs on the black market. YerAnd responding immediately with the triple steel scientist. He's going to take a little bit more time to come online. Blues already up to that HQ2.
Yeah. Aluminium has spiked, and there's no obvious source of aluminium for YerAnd. I mean, there's a few medium distance away, but...
Yeah, he might have to end up taking 2, which is going to be very painful for a scientist. Doesn't have any water within touching distance either.
No. Looks like he's going for silicon as well, so maybe we'll see some solar panels down. Maybe he's going to move into glass.
Yeah, I mean, glass does make some amount of sense. Yeah, in fact, he's moving HQ2 into glass, which is a very aggressive move. Does make sense, though. There's going to be a lot of demand.
Slightly risky, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not enormously profitable at the moment, but there are a couple of things you have to factor into account. There's the glass colony. There's only 0.6 a second, but still that's something. But both players need glass to upgrade as well. So that price is only really going to go up. YerAnd trying to spike the price of silicon, at least in the short term, before that first silicon shipment comes in. And there is the nuke on the high carbon, so Blue's now working off 2 lows. But again, he's got most of the silicon that he needs at this point to get to HQ level 3, so I think he'll be alright.
Blue's got plenty of carbon around his base, so he can rotate if he needs to. Extra claims on the market as well, so not a huge problem. I mean, I'm more concerned YerAnd's going to get pirated. I mean, there's a couple of spots.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he could... I mean, if he gets to 3, he can crush the pirates, maybe? I'm not exactly sure. But,
yeah, I mean, the pirates can be crossed, but...
Oh, there they are.
I was going to say, if you put them in that location, then
you're
taking the oxygen coming out, the glass going back.
Yeah, well, I don't think the pirates will target the oxygen. I think it's only shipments going to the HQ. So I think he's only really going to get glass, but he is going to get quite a bit of glass. Is he going to get he's not getting the silicon there either, so it's just going to be glass. That's going to be a very valuable pirates.
Yeah, he's going to have to watch out. Maybe if he can work his shipments, then he should be able to minimise the losses, at least help him over the short-term loss. But we'll have to see what YerAnd does.
And we've seen what YerAnd's plan was for aluminium. Takes the adjacent low and then mutinies Blues' high, which is an interesting move, and it's not going to be countered with a counter mutiny this time from Blues. Instead taking the claim at HQ level 3. He does get that upgrade as well, so he's working off quite a few more claims than YerAnd is right now.
Yeah, he's moving a couple of wind turbines as well, which is going to sort his power needs out. Does need to keep his glass running though. Glass has got really cheap.
Yeah, I mean, glass is pretty much straight up losing money now for both players. Certainly for YerAnd, who has a stockpile of it, and even though, I mean, those pirates seemed like a good idea at the time, but that glass, I mean, it's going to be somewhat valuable. You're taking away, what, $2,000 or so from your opponent per tick, so it is pretty valuable still, but again, that glass, there's going to be a lot of glass around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what YerAnd's going to do with the claims, but they should be fine. Although you notice Blues has taken 2 low water tiles, which has shut off any adjacency YerAnd could hope to have.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a pair going on, and I assume he's going to put down reactors. Yes, he is, but Blue's already in those reactors, so he's going to be first into that market. Power's starting to climb as well, and YerAnd doesn't really seem to have an easy way into power.
It's good AMP though from him. Shut down Blues' power. Make sure they're somewhat in the same boat.
During the dust storm.
Yeah, YerAnd does have double the debt of Blues at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much the. Well, I mean, it is kind of the level of debt now that YerAnd's in. That's a problem for him, but it's, again, he just doesn't really have an easy way into power. That was an expensive solar panel he just put down. Another one would be, 11,000 in terms of resources, which is a lot of money. Is that? No, that doesn't seem right. That's bugged, isn't it? Yeah, like it's 6,000 or thereabouts.
Sorry, that's
even
Blues. So. Yeah, it's been like you say, expensive, especially in a dust storm. And I'm sure that we'll be seeing another dust storm not too long. They always seem to come in pairs for some reason.
It seems to, some games seem to be perma-dust storms, it is true. So YerAnd, like I said, YerAnd again with that power, just very late power, not very good power, very expensive power, and he's in D levels of debt already on Sol 3 at HQ 3.
And it is ungooned power against the Scavenger, which is always a worry.
And he's not able to goon it, which means the Blues again. Thank you very much. As soon as day comes, just able to take that power, able to take the solar panel. He might even be able to take the second one as soon as his black market cooldown comes up. And Blues very soon is going to be paying off all of that debt and plunging YerAnd even deeper into that D level of debt. YerAnd has no money and no real source of income right now.
Yeah, there is a power surplus on the way though, so the price of power is not going to remain as high as it is.
I want to pay attention to something as well. YerAnd has turned his glass kilns off, and he's done it at a very unfortunate time because they both have... Oh, I see what he was doing. Okay, so he was waiting for the pirates to work on the silicon, and as soon as the pirates went away, turns the glass kilns back on, is going to get 120 power. 120 glass, excuse me, into his HQ. So it does stop Blues getting that money, but in the meantime, as predicted, the second solar panel gets mutinied away. Blues now working off a big power surplus. There is a random power surplus as well, which isn't going to help him pay off all of this debt, but equally that's not going to help YerAnd to get out of this debt eventually. And I don't really see a way back for him in this game number 3, unfortunately.
No, that's a good move by Blues. Take away his power, kill the price of power, leave YerAnd saddled with all that massive 166,000 of debt. Blues going into a couple of greenhouse farms, which are going to be pretty profitable for him. And sadly, YerAnd not in the black market, so can't shut them down either. So a majority buy, perhaps. I don't know. YerAnd's got money, or did have money, to defend himself.
Yeah, I mean, there's some amount of... I think he's going to be... Yeah, and I was going to say this adrenaline boost on the wind turbine. The double wind turbines is going to be really nice for Blues. The power price is probably going to be sustained overnight, at least for a while, because YerAnd doesn't have any at all. It does have a patent lab as well. And YerAnd getting that teleportation patent, getting the slant drilling patent as well. But again, even with chems only at $100, they are expensive patents. The cost of the patent lab as well, of course, factored into that. And that is a lot of money to be spending on something that you absolutely definitely need. And meantime, he's taken another huge debt tick. This one nearly 60,000. He's now in over $250,000 of debt.
Yeah, that's PB level of debt again. It's pretty much impossible to come back from, I think. Certainly in a 1v1, perhaps in a 4 FFA, you may be able to get away with it, but then a little bit iffy.
Blues rapidly getting towards the point. Yeah, Blues shuts down that patent lab, is going to be able to get that slant drilling for himself. Yeah, and absolutely no way to respond to this. Unfortunately, Blues is ticking up with that power price. He's getting a bunch of food profits as well. There isn't a whole lot of money to be made on world outside of food, unfortunately, for Blues, so finishing this game off in the short term might be quite difficult. But again, YerAnd opting to defend himself which he absolutely has to do. But at the same time, you play the long game with 260,000 of debt. It's not going to end well for you.
No, no, it's not. It's just going to. Well, it's crushed his share price, hasn't it? I mean, his share price is basically half of Blues' at the moment.
Yeah, and even with the full buy, Blues isn't going to be a million miles away from just taking this one outright. Gets the water engine auction, which again is not going to be very meaningful at all.
Nope, it's pretty useless for him, especially with the price of water as it is. But fuel is, Blues brings a bit of water in. He's going to make a lot of money off that, which possibly could be enough to clean up the game.
Well, he's getting slant drilling in 22 seconds, and there's a medium water just to the west of him. So I wonder if that's his plan.
Yeah, that's going to provide a nice little revenue stream for him. I mean, eventually they'll kill the price of water, but with food so high, water so high, Blues has got a chance to make a fair bit of money on Worlds.
And YerAnd now stuck with those 3 solar panels that he wasn't able to use while the price of power is at $300. Now the price of power is $10, and he has them back. So,
well, I think more importantly, YerAnd's farm, because his set of farms has got 1 water under the 3 tiles with no slant drilling. YerAnd is able to finance those very expensive water price to run his farms.
So he's got 2 water claims separate, yeah. So he thought he was going to get slant drilling, of course, and ended up not getting slant drilling. I missed that debt tick, but it must have been close to $100,000 for YerAnd. Huge amount of money.
350k. Wow, PB would be proud.
So YerAnd's power stock price is now going to tank in a big way. As he sells out of Blues, it's now $8.
Getting worse and worse and worse.
The good news is he can buy all 10 of his stock now if he wants to. He might just do that.
I think, well, yeah, if maybe he just wants to get it over and done with. It could be so hard for him to come back. I think it's just a matter of time. Blues just has to keep it going steady, and it'll be good.
Yep, I think so. All sorts of life support coming in for Blues. 3 farms, 3 reactors. Doesn't really have the water to support it right now, but again, is putting down another medium water pump using that slant drilling. That's YerAnd's medium water tile that he's slant drilling from.
And YerAnd unfortunately can't nuke his own tiles, so I think you should be able to nuke your own tiles.
Can you not? Can you actually not do that? I hadn't realised that you couldn't do it. Oh no!
So if you find somebody with a nice high water tile, then slant drill it for all you're worth.
It's the game deciding that what we really need is a financial instruments auction, which is going to give Blues some money. I'm gonna stick my neck out and say that it's going to give Blues some money come the end of Sol 5.
Oh, definitely, it's worth taking for Blues. He doesn't really care about the debt at this point. He might as well be getting another cash injection every time the interest ticks.
Yeah, YerAnd is buying his own stock, so he's putting up a fight here. He's into a pleasure dome now as well. He's also into a hacker array. Wonder what he's planning to surplus. It is going to be glass, which, I mean, that's fine. He's making some glass, and he's going to continue to make some glass. So it's going to be at least a little bit profitable for him.
Yeah, and the price of glass is remaining quite low, so YerAnd hasn't got a huge amount of cash to buy into it to push the price up, so I don't know if he's going to be making a huge amount of money from it.
Well, here comes the debt tick. It's going to be a big one, folks. 30% of 360,000. I'll let you do the maths on that one.
It's like 120k.
Yeah, about that. Let's have a look.
Blues. How much is Blues? Blues is going to get like 40k, or does he?
Something like that. It's what, 15% of any debt tick? Oh, 109,000. That debt tick for YerAnd. He's now nearly in $500,000 of debt. His stock price is absolutely tanking. And
Blues gets 27k from that interest tick.
27,000 for financial instruments, which isn't quite what he paid for it, but isn't far off.
Well, 40k of debt though.
Because the denominator falling so quickly that his YerAnd stock price gets the red button and the shift buy and takes game number 3. 3 very, very convincing games for Blues. YerAnd not really getting going in any of them, falling into very, very high levels of debt twice in the series, not really able to deal with Blues' use of the black market, and he takes the series 3-0.
Yeah, well played to Blues. I think his black market usage in the early game really set up his wins. Excellent use, I think.
Yeah, and just those founds, 2 very good founds early on. Well, one very early on in the first game, but the second one again, recognising that there wasn't a huge amount on the map, waiting for YerAnd to take the expansive and taking the scavenger that was just as good and able to get the money for the early black market. So,
yep. And he just finally killed YerAnd off. Well, debt killed YerAnd in that game, I think.
Yeah, 110,000 of power YerAnd bought, along with a bunch of food and a bunch of fuel as well. It was a lot of money, it was a lot of debt, and the interest charges by themselves were $250,000 for YerAnd.
Which is, ouch, painful.
Yep, huge amount of money. So Blues completes our upper bracket of the 1v1 tournament. Blues takes 3rd place in the tournament. So your final standings, Death Tacticus with the gold medal, PB Head with the silver medal, Blues with the bronze, and YerAnd with the 4th place, which is still a creditable performance. Let's not lose sight of that. Despite losing 3-0 here to Blues today, YerAnd with 4th place overall in the tournament, beat some very good players on the way to the semi-final.
Yeah, YerAnd, excellent player. 4th place, well deserved.
Yep, absolutely. So that's our series. It's been a little bit shorter perhaps than the gold medal game between DT and PB. You can find that one on the Mohawk Games channel, I think, from last week. That was the Mohawk stream last week. Soren and Zoltar casting that one, but this was the bronze game. The only game now left to go is the casual bracket final in this tournament between Jim Bob the Mighty and some joker called Terror Incognita, who, yeah, we should have played that last weekend, but we ended up not playing that last weekend. So hopefully this weekend we'll get that played.
Yeah, good. Well, best of luck for that.
Thank you very much.
You'll do very well.
Thank you, and yeah, thank you to you, Morgan, for joining me again. It's always fun.
Anytime, just give us a shout if anybody needs casting. I'm usually around.
Yeah, in terms of we need to plug your 8-player tournament as well, which is happening. When's that? Is it 2 weekends from now, or is it?
I'm thinking I'm maybe going to delay it.
Okay.
Slightly until the patch hits with the shipping lanes.
Oh yes, the shipping lanes. Yeah, we didn't talk about it too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And of course, more people need to sign up because hardly anybody has signed up for it.
Oh no.
Just terrible.
Sign up, folks.
I force myself to play these silly 1v1s just to make the numbers up, and people never return the favour. They should be feeling very guilty for them.
Yeah, all you want to do in life, really, in Offworld is play 8-player games, isn't it? It's
I would like to. That would be fine for me. But, it's going to be a bit of fun.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's fair enough.
I think I do agree with what Blues says. For 8 players without shipping lanes, it's just too much. So I'm probably going to delay that until
I think
at
that's
least
fair.
know what's going on, because there hasn't been a huge amount of information on it. So
Yeah, well, we'll wait for
see
Soren to say something, or wait for somebody to say something from the Mohawk side. I'm sure that'll happen at some point in the fairly near future. I think there's a sale coming up as well, isn't there? There's a Humble Bundle sale coming up, so we might get an influx of new players, which is always really good. And
I'm sure the new players would love to watch the 8-player tournaments, but yeah, good. Right, thank you very much, Tara. I need to disappear.
Morgan. Yep, no worries.
So
thank you very
much.
much.
Sign up for the 8-player tournament, and we'll be hosting it as soon as we can.
All right, I will see you later. And thanks everyone for watching the stream. Been a lot of fun to do these games as ever. And as I say, we just got the one game left now in the 1v1 tournament. So thanks all for watching. Sorry it's been a short one again tonight, but keep your eyes peeled on the Discord for future games, and until next time, we'll see you later.